Hi, I'm Gardener Scott. Fermented vegetables are very easy to make and very good for you. Join me as I show you how I make fermented sugar snap peas. Fermented vegetables are particularly good when you can ferment them when they're very fresh. These peas came from my garden, and so they're about as fresh as can be. We've eaten some of them in salads and stir fries, and I still have a lot left, so it's time to make fermented sugar snap peas. When you harvest the sugar snap peas young, this size, they're particularly good in stir fries and salads. But if you leave them on the plant a little bit longer, they'll grow bigger, more robust. The peas inside will begin to swell. And I think these are perfect for fermenting because when they're done, you can eat it almost like a pickle. You can hold it in your hand. It's crunchy. It's got that fermented sour taste. And this is really a good way to use some of those peas that maybe got left on the vine a little long by accident, or as I do it, on purpose. For each quart jar of fermented snap peas, start with just over a pound of peas. That's just about 500 grams. For each quart, you also want 2 cups of filtered water to help make the brine. The brine is the essential part of fermenting the peas. So take the 2 cups of water and just pour it into a saucepan. And then to the water, we want to add 1 tablespoon of salt. And the 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 cups of water, is what makes the brine. I just heat it up on the stove, stir it to dissolve all the salt. You don't need a boil, you just need the salt to dissolve into the water, and then let it cool. While the brine is cooling, I'm preparing the other ingredients. All I use in this recipe is just peas and garlic. So I just take my fresh garlic cloves and peel off the paper and then set them to the side for when I'm ready to add the garlic to the peas. I want to cut off the tips of each pod. Now, this particular variety doesn't have a big string running down the side, but if what you're using does, you can easily pull the string apart at this point. All I'm going to do is just cut the tips off and then put them in the jar. With the tips of the peas cut off, I'm now ready to put them in the jar. I want to try to pack as many of them as possible in this jar. Should easily be able to get about a pound of smaller, thinner peas. These bigger ones might not get a full pound in a quart jar, but I'm going to try to get as many in as I can. Periodically, I'll take one of my garlic cloves and I'll stick it in with the peas as well to fill some of the space. Wherever I see a gap, I'll just try to slide a pea pod and fill up as much of the air space as I can. We'll keep putting the peas in and the garlic. We want to have about 1.5 inches of headspace from the top of the jar to the top of the peas. We need to have about 1.5 inches. This big ring around the jar is about 1 inch. So anticipate packing your peas just a little bit below that point. With the peas and the garlic firmly packed into the jar, now I'll add the brine mixture, filling it all the way to the top. And if it works out right, as this did, the peas are packed in, the liquid actually came up to about this ring, which means it's 1 inch away from the top. The peas are 1.5 inches from the top. So right now the peas are completely submerged in the brine. I want them to stay submerged in the brine. So at this point, you need to put some type of weight to hold them down. I've used plastic bags filled with brine in the past, but I've discovered these really cool glass solid weights. So I'm actually going to put the weight in and let the weight hold the peas in the liquid. Now that the peas are weighted down and resting in the brine, it's time to cover the top. You could use cheesecloth or muslin, just lay it over the top and you can secure it with a rubber band. But I've discovered these really cool fermentation lids. You just screw them on and all of the gases that are created by the fermentation will rise up and be released through the top. No bugs, no dust, nothing will get inside the jar, but all the gases from the fermentation can get out. With a lid or cover on, set your jar, or however many jars you're making, in a nice, cool, secluded spot in your kitchen or wherever you like to place your jars, and then just let them sit for about 8 days. Now, this shot is of the jars after about 2 days. And beginning at about the 2-day point, you'll notice that the liquid starts getting cloudy and the peas start changing color. That's perfectly normal. The temperature of where you do the fermentation does matter. Ideally, you want the temperature somewhere around 70 to 75 degrees. If it will be warmer than that, above 80 degrees, I recommend you trying to find a cooler spot to store the jars. You can begin using the peas before the 8 days or let it ferment a few longer, but for me, 8 is just about right. And at that point, I take the tops off and do a preliminary investigation just to make sure there's no mold or unusual odors coming from the jar. And then I just reach in and pull out that glass weight and start looking at the peas. Underneath the weight, the peas should have a nice vibrant color and actually have a fresh, almost sweet aroma. I tasted a pea from each of these jars. They were delicious. So now it's a good time to just wipe off the top of the jar to remove any brine that might have leaked out. And then I'll put a new clean cap on the jars. And they're ready for the refrigerator and enjoying later. How easy is that? 2 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of salt, and some fresh sugar snap peas. There you have it. That's how I ferment sugar snap peas. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know below. If you haven't subscribed to the Gardener Scott channel, you can do so now. And if you like the video, you can give me a thumbs up and share it. I'm Gardener Scott. Enjoy gardening and fermenting.